All right, let's get some good news.
After nearly 5 months on the picket line, the Writers Guild says a tentative deal has been reached to end the Hollywood strike. Oh, we all hope so. So we don't know all the details just yet, but there are signs that the writers may have cause to celebrate. Lise Preston is in Los Angeles. She's been following this story.
This has been a long time coming, 146 days to be exact, for the union's 11,000 writers. While it still could be weeks until they get back to work, working conditions and demands like higher pay and residuals could be significantly improved.
Striking members of the Writers Guild of America were out in force over the weekend, even as marathon negotiations, which at times included the top brass of 4 major studios, indicated their work stoppage might soon be over.
Hopeful, fingers, toes, eyes, like everything crossed for a resolution.
And late Sunday, it came. In a joint statement, the WGA and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers said they've reached a tentative agreement for a new 3-year contract.
Just full support to the WGA and so much respect for them that they went back, obviously had to go back to the negotiations table with people who have openly floated to industry publications, to trade publications, that they wanted them to die. Okay? When this negotiation is happening, you have to understand the people that are sitting across from the table on the AMPTP side, some of those people have openly talked about how they want the writers to die. They want them to go homeless, go broke, and possibly die until they can fucking come back to the table and be like, okay, we fucked up. So just remember that. It's so fucked.
Hollywood is breathing a huge sigh of relief.
Matthew Bellany is a founding partner of Puck News. While the details of the agreement are officially still under wraps while the contract is finalized, Bellany says he's learned the writers are getting significantly more than what the studios were offering before the strike.
They made gains on AI. They got protections against their...
Yes, SAG-AFTRA is still on strike, but I mean, dude, once this came down, they will negotiate with them too.
...work being used in AI models. They also made gains on minimum staffing. This is the number of writers that are contractually required to be used on a TV show.
There were joyful reactions on social media, especially from actors whose own strike negotiations have stalled. From Mindy Kaling, can't wait to go back to work and see my people. LeVar Burton, this is a huge...
Wait, I don't get it. I thought everybody loved strikes and nobody wanted to work anymore. It seems like a lot of people are excited to go back to work. This seems shocking to me.
Step in the right direction. And from Quinta Brunson, a simple, we're back, baby.
Yes, for the record, now that this has been sorted, the SAG-AFTRA one will be sorted under similar boundaries as well. Of course, this is not fully done yet. Obviously, now that the negotiations are done, didn't they only start concession talks because California was going to give striking workers unemployment insurance? Yeah, I think that might have played a role in it. We don't know. Gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom might have put his finger on the fucking scales a little bit. But overall, I think it's just there's too much you're losing out on when you continue the work stoppage, especially with SAG-AFTRA also there. Am I missing something, or this is very short-term being discussed? It doesn't matter. Even if it's a short-term deal, it still doesn't matter. It's still good, especially if it's good enough that it will be ratified. And I know the negotiations committee is not going to bring back a deal to their rank and file that is not good enough to be voted on. So it must be promising.
While striking actors are expected to use the WGA agreement as a template, they face some significantly different hurdles.
There are things that are transferable. However, there's a lot of things that are not transferable. For instance, the actors have asked for a much more significant basic wage increase.
Now, picketing has been suspended until the tentative contract is finalized and ratified. Late night talk shows could return early next month. And Bellany says best case scenario, if actors can get back to the bargaining table, all of Hollywood could be back in full swing by November.
Thoughts and prayers to the scabbing talk show hosts who couldn't have waited 2 weeks. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Bill Maher and Drew Barrymore just nutting too early is pretty great. They literally fucking couldn't hold out. They were like, no, we're going out to bat here. It's great. Yeah, Drew Barrymore ruined her good name just for them to reach an agreement days later. It's so funny, man. It's so good. SNL Sundays are back, baby. Yeah, I don't want to think about the bad stuff, okay? We want to think about the good stuff. I don't like that immediately people say, oh my God, this means SNL's coming back. Oh my God, this means that late night talk shows are coming back. I don't want to talk about all of the evil, the metric ton of evil that will be out there due to the writer's strike ending. I want to talk about the positives, okay? Start the strike back up. The reboot of The Office will be announced once the strikes are lifted. Uh-oh, no, yeah, never mind. See, this is what I mean. Stop it. Stop it. I am trying desperately not to be anti-solidarity here, okay? Stop it. Do not. Stop. Maybe it was a good thing. Maybe it was a good thing that there was continued strikes. Stop it. Why you got to do this to me? I don't like it. Here's the SAG-AFTRA side of the conversation. Getting back to the WGA.
Reached a deal, tentative though it is, with major studios to end the Hollywood strike.
The new labor agreement comes nearly 5 months after writers took to the picket lines. Terms of the agreement have not yet been made public, but union negotiators are calling the deal exceptional. They say it was only possible because of the leverage generated by the strike and the support and solidarity of other unions.
We do know from insiders, they are also chiming in along with WGA leadership that the deal did swing in their favor. From what we're told, there are protections around the AI use. So the WGA had been asking for restrictions there. It appears that they have gotten those, as well as writing room minimums.
I don't get it. I thought that this was like unmanageable. I thought that this would never happen. I mean, I got so many assurances that these demands were just unjustifiable, and yet here they are being justified. I don't understand it at all. Maybe it wasn't unjustifiable, and you should stop fucking listening to bosses saying certain things are unmanageable when they certainly are, you know?
In the room as they are producing and writing this content. So those were two major sticking points that were holdouts for the last several days, or really the last several weeks, over this 146-day strike. And we are told that the writers were able to swing that in their favor.
So, Elise, the agreement still, as I understand, needs to be ratified by union members. Do we have an idea of the timeline for when that vote's going to happen and when we can expect to see people start working?
So it should be about a couple weeks before writers get back into the swing of things with work. We do know that the union leadership is expected to vote to end the strike tomorrow, and then that goes to the larger membership and they have to vote. So keep in mind there are 11,500 members in the union. They all have to vote before that is finalized and ratified.
Do you think there may have been pressure on the execs from other unrelated industry execs for them to appeal to the striking workers due to how positive a lot of the sentiments? No, they always express solidarity. The bourgeois class, capital owners, are completely aware of their class position and what their class interests are. And they will always defend those class interests because that comes with the recognition that, like, oh, these workplaces are unionized and they're actually demanding more from the profits that we are able to accumulate off of their surplus labor value. If they get their demands, then it might come for us as well. You know, it's not dissimilar to the rigid IP control that, for example, Bill Gates pushed for with the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccines that originally came out. If you remember, it made no sense for American business owners to be like, no, do not fucking give away the patent for this fucking vaccine. Like, why would you not want that? You quite literally are a business owner and you want people to get vaccinated. You want this distribution to be immediately released so that we can do mass inoculation campaigns and everyone can get back to work so they can pay $5 a month to avoid the top of the hour ad break at the HasanAbi broadcast. The reason why Bill Gates did that, despite the fact that like vaccines being mass produced by whoever the fuck would have truly made the mass inoculation campaigns much faster, right? Globally. The reason why he had this perspective, despite the fact that it went against his best interests at the time, was because once the Pandora's box is open and we now feel more comfortable releasing patents due to public considerations or like a pandemic happening, then what else can they open up patents for? You know what I mean? And that's the big part of it. Patents are another way of doing enclosures, right? So if your net worth relies on Microsoft continuing to hold patents around the software side, you don't want that to be the norm. You don't want people to like recognize that like maybe patents are bullshit.
So we know where things stand with them, what needs to happen for those two sides to strike a deal.
Yeah, we're on day 74 for the SAG-AFTRA strike, and they have been asking for some of the same protections that the WGA had been asking for, but the actors are also asking for higher minimums. In addition to that, they want 2% of the streaming revenue, since streaming is such a huge way that people are consuming content now. The producers have already said that that would not happen, that was a non-starter, so it'll be interesting to see. The writer strike was 146 days. We are on day 74 of the SAG-AFTRRA strike.
So yeah, good news on that front. Exciting stuff happening on that front.
Who here is good at GeoGuessr?
Ludwig.
Is that it?
But are these marijuana plates?
I'm not seeing anything.
Oh, please. This is so freaking scuffed. I hate this game.
Okay, I cut him out.
Oh, clutch. I thought red dirt normally means like Brazil or something. I don't know if that helps me.
Why? I'm gonna use my instincts.
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, no!
I hate this game.
Is this how you guys feel when you're playing Valorant and shit? Like you're just like, wow, a fun game for me.